Good evening, guys, and welcome to tonight's Hangout in the Crib. Um, tonight's show is all about the Dark Tide raid and the new nuclear cruiser, which is called the Fusion Cruiser, and the new weapon. So, as you can see, we've got the BP Professor with us, and the Chosen One, Felly, and myself there. So, we'll just get straight into it, I think.
All right.
Hand it over to Larry, the man with the slides.
All right. As Earth said, we're going to talk about the Dark Tide raid. So, but first, even though Doom Rooster said on the forums there'd be no maintenance, they did actually deploy a lot of bug fixes this week, and some of them were pretty good, actually. That first one was kind of funny. If you attack an enemy mercenary fleet, your bubble won't drop anymore. I guess when they changed the bubble rules, they messed up on that. It's kind of funny.
Yeah, I had it happen to me a couple of times.
Yeah. Yeah.
There we go.
And then this next one has some potential here. They say addressed a long-standing bug where joining a co-op combat could require multiple attempts. I think any of us who's tried to help anyone knows what a pain in the ass it is to actually get in the combat. You gotta, have the guy go in and then retreat, and then you can go in, and then he can come in, or you just have to sit there and try and join for 45 seconds. Or so. Hopefully, things will go smoother. But I guess we'll just have to wait till the raid starts to tell. Right?
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
I mean,
hopefully it works.
it's going to be a lot better for doing the Reaver platforms if it works for that as well.
Oh yeah, that's true. Those are a real pain to join as well. That's
I
an
know
excellent point.
some people have complained about it taking up to 4.5 minutes to get into one after the
Yeah,
first person's in. So
I never had them take that long, but I always seemed to be last, and it was at
I
least a
mean,
minute, minute and a half.
we always did like every 30 seconds we'd jump in, count
Yeah,
down to 30 seconds and then jump in.
it's too long. It's ridiculous. All right, so let's hope it's fixed. And these next three are kind of hinky little things. And then this last one, I think some people noticed this one, where if you put a limited hull in ship storage, it could tell you that you could actually build another, even if you're at your limited limit. But then I guess if you actually tried to build it, it wouldn't work. So it wasn't really exploitable, but it was definitely confusing. So I guess they fixed that.
good.
Yep. All right. So let's move on to the raid itself. So they're going to have the same kind of general structure with the 4 campaigns and world map targets, but there are a couple changes there. I think the really exciting change for a lot of players is that any player level will be able to hit any campaign. I think that's going to be really good for people who want to keep hitting strike and grind away at that instead of maybe their fleets aren't quite up to siege.
See, I was wondering if you actually still get the same experience as well, because if it was someone like, say, me or Earth, we could do strike all day long on auto quite easily. So you're going to get the same amount of points that you get if you're choosing strike as a lower level.
Yeah, because I know that a few times I've helped out people in lower tiers to do those, and they're really minuscule damage, aren't they?
I guess we'll just have to wait and see. But yeah, I mean, I think you're going to have people actually able to grind through this raid for free. A lot more people.
Which is only a good thing, really.
Yeah, I mean, players want that, right? They want choices as to how much time versus how much coin. And there's a lot of free players who felt really locked out of raids.
I think it's like the actual sector scoring thing a lot easier as well, because if they can grind the what's for cheap, then they might be more what's obliged to hit sector target because they've got the coin or the time left over to actually help out with that.
I kind of think the opposite.
Really?
Because I think what happened in previous raids is players who were playing for free and couldn't do the siege campaign would do like 43 world map targets, right? So they were just getting points and that was their raid. Now I think those players are going to ignore the world map and just go for the strike campaign. So you might see less points. I don't know. And I think this other change coming up next, world map targets, there's going to be fewer choice in world map targets. They're taking away the 25, 45, and 61. And I know a lot of players like the 45 and the 61. So that's going to be another kind of players aren't going to be hitting those for sector points either. So
I mean, it really depends on how they've tweaked the targets, really.
yeah.
Well, we know they tweet the points as well, so the amount you're getting for the targets that you're hitting.
Well, the sector points are the same. It was 10 for a 23 and 100 for a 43 and 600 for a 65.
Yeah.
We don't.
They took out the 2,500 as well, haven't they?
The 85?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, and I forgot to fix that. Irf, you even told me to fix that. It's a Reaver Assault platform, not a Hellstar Nexus. So the 85s are gone.
I just noticed that myself. I was just about to bring it up.
Sorry, Irf.
That's all right. It's not a problem.
Yeah. Right. So there's going to be the sector influence bar, Reaver Assault platforms, not Hellstar Nexus. I was starting to kind of like those too. 4-day raid and unlockable sector prizes. So it's going to be a fairly familiar structure.
And I believe there'll be a token store again as well, from what I read.
What was that?
You'll have to get the tokens as well.
Yeah. Yeah. I think I put that in here somewhere.
It's like 12 of the 12 hours something, and then
yeah,
like 4 of the 24 hours and that.
Pretty sure it's in here. We'll get there, Scotty. It's the same as last time, actually, is what it is. So
yeah.
But yeah, we'll get there. All right, so sector influence. So the sector bar, they took out some of the buffs that they were giving from the first part of the sector bar. So now the only buff is that 10% combat speed. I think there used to be, what, a reload and a radioactive damage defense buff?
Yeah, some sort of defense.
Yeah, it's defense.
Well, so those are gone. All you get is the speed at 40%, and then the other thresholds and bonuses are the same.
Yeah, because there used to be like a few more stages in there, didn't there?
Yep, there were more buffs.
So, you know.
And then, again, over here, sector point earned. I just showed what I said on the last slide. They took a bunch of them out and left the other ones the same. And then you can hit the 65 for 600 uranium, as well as 600 points. So there.
Should have put a little bit of uranium in there. I do like the fact when you do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's better than not uranium. It's just doesn't seem like much.
No, it gives a little bit of an incentive to hit them though, especially for people who, don't particularly like doing dredges too much. It's a double thing, isn't it? You get some points towards the very open sector points.
You could always get people to prep them for you as well if you really needed you really need uranium that badly.
It's true.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea. Okay. On to this new thing, the Forsaken Rescue. So I guess the targets are going to be different in the campaigns because they have this new thing where they have these buildings marked with an exclamation point. And they're like shrouds, except apparently they're keeping poor, misguided, lonely, forsaken ships as captive. So you blow up the building with the exclamation point. The Forsaken ships are freed, and they will bravely run away. If you rescue enough ships, you earn points, and you can get an elite mercenaries crew with those points once you rescue enough ships. And we don't know if it's really 800 points. We don't know how many points per ship. So we'll just have to wait and see on that.
Yeah, I mean, this is a little bit vaguified because some of their raids have had where you've got to rescue people, rescue detainees in order to get prizes.
If I had to say, I'd say it'd be something by ship, because if it was 800 points, you wouldn't really have to do much to actually get the crew. And it's quite a strong crew from what I looked at.
Yeah, it's a great crew. I just put it up on the screen here. 25% combat and turn speed, and then 25% on all your damage protection. So that's actually really good.
And then that little special Crusader buff at the bottom.
Yeah, because people with Crusaders just need a little help, don't they? I'm sorry, don't we?
I'm gonna really, really hate people who are gonna save loads of these up and stick them on with a Grim Crusader and Aegis fleet just to hit bases.
Yeah, I mean, I think I might be one of those people who saves them for not using during the raid, but I think you mentioned it, Irf, in our chat that these would also be really good if you're hitting 90s.
Yeah, they will. Just the extra protection to everything, and obviously the turn speed and the combat speed is going to help you out greatly.
Yeah.
Well, it's like a mini demo squad for Crusader, really.
Yeah, it's a cross between blitzers and a demo, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it's just great. I mean,
yeah. I like it. It's good.
Yep. So make enemies, save them up for later.
I think as far as hitting the targets to get the ships out as well, you'd have to watch how you hit it, because obviously if you open it too soon, they're trying to take a beating from all the turrets that you haven't cleared.
Right. That's actually a really good point. And I think the other thing Kixeye said is that if you clear it before the ships are off the screen, then you don't get credit for saving the ships either. So
yeah,
you might have
need
to
leave something behind.
Yep. Hopefully, maybe one of those short-range howitzer-type guns, or a mortar that you can just kind of sail away from, or something.
And just look at it before you hit something where they could run to that they get hit. And make sure you take out them turrets so they can get a clear run out of the way.
Yeah.
Before you open it.
Yeah. I think that'll probably just be an experience thing. People learn their patterns to clear these things. All right. Reaver Assault Platform. So the platforms themselves are the same, and the change is now, instead of I forget whether it was 12-hour or 24-hour. I think it was 24-hour respawn last time, right?
Yeah.
So now they're going to respawn every 6 hours, and it'll start on day 2, and that'll end on Monday morning. Times probably aren't worth saying because of all the time zones around the world, but they're going to stop respawning a few hours before the end of the raid so that sort of all the sectors get the same number of spawns. I think last raid Alpha sector, or Alpha whatever, sector, quadrant, whatever they call it, got screwed because everybody else got an extra spawn.
But then, they always seem to start earlier and get the better drops on the BPs sometimes as well. So
Yeah.
Depends as well. I mean, they seem to from what it looked like last time, they seem to drop more at the start of the raid, the first 2 days, and then the last 2 days. As far as dropping blueprints.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess we'll be able to kind of see that, right? now
Yeah.
because they also, I'm not sure I put it in one of the slides, but they announced that they were changing how they were announcing the prize winning. That instead of having a chat message like a pill, one of those little squares on the side that just says how many were won in the last hour.
That'd be quite
So,
interesting.
so
To
people
be
have some
honest,
numbers.
I'm quite looking forward to that. Mostly
Yeah.
because I hate it when I've just hit one and it pops up and I go, damn it, it's wrong sector.
Yeah, right.
Between
I mean,
I'm
between
hoping
that and then it's just sometimes as well you get them in blocks and like nobody says anything in comms and then it's just like a pirate in the captain in sector whatever is one of Hellstar, the captain is one of proto-nemesis, and you can sometimes like when there's a big block of them one and nobody's been in chat, there's like 6 or 7 in there, and you look at it and you go, bloody hell, what's going on here? There's quite a lot being handed out.
yeah.
I'm hoping they don't give me any more fucking protos.
Yeah, agreed.
I got 2 last raid, and I know people that's got 5.
I got a rock.
Yeah.
I mean, I finally started hitting some assault platforms, but I didn't win anything yet. None of my ally mates won them either.
Yeah, I mean, but I think last time, the first day or 2, that we got like 3 Hellstars, and I lost count of how many protos. But then the last 2 days, we didn't really see anything. Maybe 1 or 2.
I'll tell you what, Larry, if I win another pro, I'll contact Kix and get him to give it to you.
I don't want it. I'm going to be
Well, it's
building
not very
fusion
nice, is it?
cruisers for a long time.
Okay.
Fusion cruisers. Okay, let's move on here. This is the Hellstar blueprint. I don't think we need to go through this again.
It's badass.
Yeah, it's badass.
If you win it and we don't, we hate you.
Yeah, yeah. Firebats can spot for the Hellstar too, because, you know, that. So that's the change I made to the slide that we learned. But, yep.
Yeah, it was to do with, they've coded it for, especially for Reaver drones, wasn't it? I think it was any type of drone that can spot for them. Because it's something in the coding, isn't it, that they've put in there.
Who knows?
They're kind of like mini versions of what the drones it flies at anyway, because it flies throwers and everything out. So it's like a mini version, isn't it, really? Probably registers as the same thing.
It'd be interesting to know, actually, if anybody's in chat that's got a Hellstar, if they tried it with any Forsaken drones. Just curiosity, no other reason.
Okay. All right, moving on from the Hellstar. Here we go. Really, is that next? That is next. So let's talk about the Fusion Cruiser. I know those of you who read the blog or read just about anything on the Kixeye forums or Facebook groups know that this hull seems pretty badass. It's a launcher-enhanced hull. And again, so the highlights are it gives you a 5% range bonus for your radioactive weapons, 120% reload for radioactive weapons. And I say that because I guess it would work on throwers too if you were really some reason wanted to put throwers on something. I guess this would be good for throwers too.
Just spit it out. Just spit it out. If you were really dumb or slightly retarded,
I'm on this.
Slightly retarded, then you might put throwers on there.
Okay. Yeah. Putting throwers on the Fusion Cruiser would be dumb. Because it also has this X3 launcher supercharge. So you build up your shockwaves 3 times as fast.
That's like a built-in gauze.
Yeah.
Well, it's a double built-in gauze, isn't it?
Yeah, right, because Gauss only gives you 1.5, so this is triple. So yeah. So, and then it's got the 4 special slots, which is great for a launcher enhanced ship because you have a lot of options on how to use that 4th special. It's got really decent defense percentages, 30%, 40%, 50%, 20% evade. I mean, it's nice. And then 13 speed isn't a speed demon these days, but it's good. And it's still a 5-day build, which is basically the same as the old nuke cruisers. So
It's starting to raid points is nice as well. 20%.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
And speed system 3 would take that to what, 20.8 standard, so like 21 combat speed.
Probably.
So
Yeah.
about right, isn't it?
Yep. So if this hull were just being released without any new weapon, I think we'd be pretty excited for putting launchers on it again. But there's more. The Antipode or Antipode, I think it's Antipode when it's just Antipode. But we can debate how to say it some other time.
I believe that they did call it the Antipode in the video.
It's a stupid name. I'm not gonna say anything.
They should have just called it the badass fucking launcher.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the badass launcher with a stupid name. So it is an improved launcher. It has good damage just from the flechettes. It has a longer range. It's up to 94. I didn't put a green box around that, but I really should have because that's really big. It has increased accuracy. It has humongous shockwave damage. This is more than triple the impulse launcher shockwave damage. It only takes 60 hits to charge. Again, impulses were 120. It does this aux shockwave so that, you know, if it doesn't quite do enough damage, it also reduces your target's resistance to the shockwaves by 50%.
Yeah, because it's as if the massive amount of damage that you're going to get isn't enough.
Right. So don't want you to be able to resist that now, would you? And then the build time is the same as the old D92U or the Cryo N launcher, just over half a day. So yeah, this works like a U launcher, the old U launcher, except it does a hell of a lot more damage and a hell of a lot more shockwaves, and at more range.
A lot more range.
Yeah.
Well,
So what's it, 98 range, isn't it? On
It'll- yeah, it'll be over 98 once you
and
get the
103.4
Fusion Cruiser bonus.
in the Enforcer.
Right.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's going to make people think about where they put stuff in their bases as well, because, you know, you can stick this launcher on an Enforcer and get that extra bit of range that you might be able to pick something off with Mastodons that you wouldn't usually be able to get.
Well, yeah, because you don't even really, the builds that short on the carrot, you don't really need to necessarily build it as a whole fleet. You could just build it as part of your mass.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So again, like I said about the Fusion Cruiser, if they just release this weapon without any new hull, people would be, I think, pretty excited for it. Just to put it on V2Cs or put it on Enforcers, even put it on old nuke cruisers if that's all you've got available. But put this together with a Fusion Cruiser, right? And you get that triple charge buildup, and you only need 60 in the first place. So that means on a Fusion Cruiser, you only need 20 hits to make this gigantic shockwave. 24,000 points of damage, which is more than many ships actually have as their entire health. So, yeah. And then, you know, I mean, against salvages, one salvo is going to kill an entire salvage fleet because you only need 20 hits. That's, you know, one salvo from 5 launchers. You can easily put 15 or 20 of these. I mean, I built a new cruiser fleet back in the day with 30 U launchers. It's great, and these are lighter.
Yeah, I mean it's quite crazy when you add up the numbers. I mean even if I'm right in saying that Tyler worked it out, and it's like up to 79% evade. If you've got 30 launchers, every single salvo you get off is going to create a boom.
Can you say that first part again, please? I didn't think I heard you right.
Sorry?
Can you say that first part again? I don't think I heard you correctly.
I think Tyler worked it out. He is a noob, but it does seem to check out.
His math checked out.
Yeah. So, it's pretty...
Just checking what you said, I wasn't sure.
Okay, so, all right, 30 launchers firing at a target with up to 79% evade will get a boom from the first salvo. So it doesn't even matter what your reload time is. It doesn't matter what your rank is. You're going to get a boom from your first salvo.
Yeah, it's nuts, really.
So I did some math in the blog, and I just kind of reprinted the charts here. If you look at this is the roundup of all the launcher type weapons. You can compare the damage and all that side by side, but so the number I always like on comparing weapons is DPS per 100 tons. 42 was really good, okay, but this is 155 DPS per H ton. It's astounding. It's unheard of. This is no rank, no supercharge bonus, no reload bonuses. This is just straight zero fleet. The other thing to notice here is that the shockwave is... I separate out the shockwave from the fleet damage. So you can see like on an N launcher, the fleet DPS is 29 and the shockwave DPS is 12. So you get a lot more of your damage on the cryo launchers from the actual hits instead of the shockwave, right? The U launcher on the impulse side does more damage from the shockwave than the fleet damage, the flechette damage. But so the reason that I'm making such a big deal over that is that the DPS per H ton of your shockwave, so like when you're using the Gauss special, okay, a weapon that does more of its damage from the shockwave is going to be helped more. So like the Gauss is great on the D92s where the amount of damage from the shockwave is similar to or more than the damage from the flechettes. So without any Gauss, the Antipode launcher is doing twice as much of its damage from the shock. So now if you give yourself an X3 supercharge from putting it on a fusion cruiser, it really, really amps up that damage. Hopefully that all made sense. And
can I just make a suggestion?
I'm sorry?
Rather than calling it the Antipode, can we just call it the noob launcher?
The noob launcher? I mean, everybody's going to be able to win it, okay? I mean, 5.5 million points. Anyone can do strike campaign. What is that? 4 or 5 run-throughs of strike campaign, one a day. If you can't win this launcher, you're in bad shape. So yeah, any noob can win this launcher. So I made some of these bubble charts just to kind of compare the DPS, and this is put them on a fusion cruiser at 45% rank, and so now the DPS per H ton of the noob launcher is over 500 DPS per 100 tons, and all the other launchers are stuck down here around 40, 60, 70. They're all just collapsed down in this corner of the chart. And then I know people like legendary ships, so the gap widens even more. Over almost 750 DPS per H ton. It's just insane.
Does that take into account the salvo?
Yes.
Well.
Yeah. So so you can see like when you go from 45% rank to 75% rank, your reload time is actually just about cut in half. Okay. And if you look at the DPS on the S launcher, you can see that because the DPS pretty much doubles, actually a little more than doubles, but on the S launcher when you go from this chart to this chart. So the noob launcher, the damage is like 1.5, again because of that kind of diminishing returns on a weapon with salvo. But it's still, I mean, you know, I ran these numbers because I was wondering if the S launcher was going to catch up, but it just doesn't. And I mean that supercharge with those, because the supercharge helps the U launchers a lot more than the S launchers because of how supercharges stack. So that kind of hurts the S launcher when you put it on the Fusion Cruiser, or it doesn't get as much benefit as the U launcher, I guess would be the way to say it. Should I talk a little more about how those supercharges stack?
If you want.
Well, I just want to know. So, a lot of people, I mean, for a while we've all known you don't put Gauss together with S launchers because S launchers also have a built-in supercharge. If I take the Impact S, right, the D92S, I think it's an 8x supercharge on the launcher. Okay, so and then a Gauss is 1.5x. But instead of going from 8 to 12 when you put Gauss with an S, you go from 8 to 8.5. So the relative benefit is really low. Okay. So on the noob launcher, right, you start out at 1 supercharge, and then you put it on a Fusion Cruiser, and you get 3 supercharge. Okay, so you do triple the shockwave damage. Okay, for the S launcher, and I am making the assumption that it stacks the same way, but on the S launcher, you start from 8 supercharge, you put it on the Fusion Cruiser, you get 10 supercharge. So it's not helped as much. You know, it going from 8 to 10 is not, you know, that's a, what, 20%, 25% increase in your shockwave damage. The noob launcher gets triple the shockwave damage. So it just blows all these away.
I think what we're trying to say really is if you don't get anything else this raid, get the launcher.
Yes, but the launcher and the cruiser work really, really well together, and you really do want both. I mean, people, it's going to be like when launchers first came out. You can put them on anything and they'll be pretty good, but man, I think on the Fusion
Well, it's still
Cruiser,
got 94 range on all the other ships, which is still nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, even if you're like a level 30, just grind out and get the launcher.
Yeah, you can put them on battle cruisers.
Put them on battle cruisers, you can put them on Mercuries when you get them. Put them on anything.
I'd always say get the weapon as well. I mean, like Inferno Rocket, for example, when they first come out, they come out once and then they weren't out again for ages. The ships tend to come out before before most of the weapons that are like game changing.
Agreed.
Yeah. I mean, as much as I agree, definitely get the weapon, but I really think you want them both. I think the Fusion Cruiser is going to just really, really be nice with the with these U launchers. They're just going to be amazing together.
They are going to be nasty, going to be hard to stop as well. Because I mean, if you look at most of people's guards at the minute. They're not really set up against launchers because there wasn't really a massive threat.
Yep.
I mean, the only real defense against them is high radioactive defense and high evade. And even with high evade, you're not really going to get a lot of guard chips above like 80%.
And with launchers and high evade, say, okay, so let's group, say skullduggery, you're hurting yourself. You're going to drop faster.
I mean, these things with the skullduggery crew is just going to be stupid.
You're going to be out in one shot. Locust can't range them.
No, you just as well pull your guard and just let them have it. Really, if they've got a DOS crew on, it's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
The only thing also that hurts them is their speed. So mortars.
Yeah, retro you mortars now if you haven't already.
All right. See, Scotty, I told you we were going to get to the token store.
I have faith in you.
So, yeah. Token store, you can only buy up to the limit, even if you spend them, and you can only hold one 12-hour and one 24-hour. So if you want to redeem all these up to the limit, you have to spend them as you get them. So just keep that in mind. I think probably would be the worst is if you have to like waste, if you have like 6 hours left and you want to get another 24-hour and you got to spend the 24-hour, you waste 18 hours of your token. Don't want to do that, so try and plan ahead.
You're better off coining it.
Yeah.
Oh, also, don't forget, about 20 minutes before the raid starts, so the price of the 24-hour tokens is probably going to go up to 3 million.
It was supposed to be like that all along.
Working as intended.
Yeah.
All right. Well, again, max possible. A week of speed up for 19 million points. So there you go.
Yeah, and as you've stated there, day's tokens worth 48 gold, so work out how much it's costing you to get them.
Yeah. Yep. All right. So for the last slide, I just picked out some of the other prizes that I thought were notable, worth getting in the raid. I think overall this list was kind of meh, especially compared to the rest of the, especially compared to the new items. I mean, I looked at every item on this list as to, is it going to help my new cruiser, my new fusion cruisers, or is it going to help someone stop fusion cruisers? That's about that. That was my criterion for this list. So, and still I put stuff on here, but again, the tier 1, it's the same as last time. D1 armors and battle cruiser are nice if you don't have them. Tier 2, the Hurricane is down to 400k. Some of you who participated in Forsaken Wallet Wars might have come up across a fleet or two that was a Monarch full of Firebat drones. I don't know, some people used them, I guess.
I don't know who could have possibly used those. They know it.
Yeah, so Hurricanes do have that double drone launch like Monarchs do. They don't have the weight reduction on the modules, but they do have the double drones. And if there's one thing that launcher ships have always had trouble with, it is drones. So one way to stop fusion cruisers may be to swarm them with firebats.
Or at least slow them down.
Yeah.
Because they hurt.
Yeah.
A lot.
Yeah, when you get a lot of firebats out there. Yeah. So Hurricane, it's a cheap pickup in the raid, and so if you want to build a fleet of Hurricanes to try and stop fusion cruisers, and you never had the Hurricane hull, now's your chance. I put the Poseidon depth charge in there only because it's really useful for killing Krakens. It's also cheap. The other stuff in that tier was, I think, pretty much garbage. So tier 3, D5X, it's really good. I use it a lot. I think lots of people use it a lot. It's kind of come back in favor versus the alloys, don't you think?
Yeah, I use it on pretty much everything at the minute,
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've got mine.
apart from my base guard, obviously, which I've got heavy plating on.
Right.
Well, yeah, they're linked in there, so in the retro, so
Yeah,
heavy plating or D5X, you save so much weight, it's unreal.
yeah, the D5X, because when you're doing your heavy plating retro, obviously it's going to add to your D5X, and it brings it up pretty close to what the standard alloys are anyway, so it's
That's right.
definitely worth it.
That's right. I mean, it comes up in tier 2 of the Forsaken mission, so a lot of people have it, but if you don't have it, it's really good. So, and then the next best thing I could find in there was the nuke cruiser. I mean, it's tough to tell people to get the nuke cruiser. I mean, you really want the fusion cruiser, but the nuke cruiser is only 2 million points now, so there's that.
Just getting the extra 10 million points.
Yeah.
Sorry, just get them.
Beg your alliance. That's all I can say. I mean,
If you're gonna go for the nuke cruiser, you might as well get some help and go for the top prize.
that's right. That's right. The build time is going to be the same. It's still a 5-day hull.
Yeah, exactly. And it's nowhere near as good.
Yep.
It hasn't got as many special slots to start off with.
Well, yeah, pretty much every half decent base hit now needs 4 specials.
Yep. All right, moving on to tier 4. The only one I really liked in this tier was D4R, again, because you're going to need radioactive defense. So if you don't have D4R, you better get it. All the other stuff I put on there is all right, but
I don't know about Scout Engine. I mean, do you really want your range halved? Unless you're making a rush fleet.
it's got its uses. I like it on sub decoys, and if you're building a drone fleet, you might want to use Scout Engine on it to play keep away. It's not something you're going to use a lot of, and I mean, like I said, none of this tier 4 stuff is really something that I wanted to say you got to have. I didn't even put it on the list. The Cryo Launcher N is on here for 6 million. I don't know why you'd pay 6 million for that when the noob launcher is 5.5 million. So,
Yeah, kind of doesn't make sense, really, does it?
nope.
We've just explained, we've gone through exactly why you should be having the new launcher, and then they put the N launcher in there, which we've just shown is rubbish compared to the new one.
For more
Yeah.
points.
Yep.
I know that some people are collectors though, so they will get it just to collect.
Yeah. And then in the sector store, I know, Scotty, you're really pleased about Reaver Bulkhead.
It's the only thing I'm looking at.
I think half of the community is probably happy that Bulkhead's in there. There's a lot of people.
I've got 5 fleets back like that.
Yeah, I mean, there's loads of people that haven't got it, and if you haven't got it, grab it.
Yep.
You grab it.
Yep.
Even more so now with these that new ship, how much damage it's going to do to your guard. You need the arm points.
Yep. Warbirds in there. Warbirds are decent. I mean, and you can pick up 2, not 1. Sorry about that. So yeah, Warbirds are all right. I don't know if they're gonna do much to stop fusion cruisers, though.
Probably not.
Probably not. So now you got the Grim Berserker coming back, and I think the Grim Berserker is actually a nice flagship for a fusion cruiser fleet.
Yeah, because if you're going to get an overload and get a triple salvo off to what you've already got with the punishing power that it's got, you're going to be taking out stuff just ridiculously quick.
Yep.
And that combat speed increase as well.
The combat speed increase and also the defense buff that you're going to get from it as well.
Especially if you didn't get the Aegis and you haven't got the Grim either.
Yep.
And you don't do what I did, but I just remember you got a limit of 2 prizes in that tier. Don't get the wrong ones. I found that out with the Phantom.
Yeah. So you're limited to 2. So.
I've
So
actually
don't
already
just
got
pick
2,
up.
so I'm not too bad. But
Yeah. And then you've got the Impulse Launcher S, which, again, compared to the new launcher, is trash. So skip it. I don't know why you'd spend 5 million points for that.
That Grim, when it says capacity of 2, does that mean you can't get a third? But if you've already got 2.
yeah, if you've already got 2, then you won't be able to get a third. So, I mean, it's made my life quite easy, this raid. I haven't got a lot of points to get, really.
I second that.
Yeah, I don't know if I have one Grim Zerker. I don't think I'm going to get a second.
I mean, I've got 2 now, so I use one with my Howls, one with my Gauze, so I don't have to swap and change.
Okay.
Because if one's out and you get sniped or something on a long journey home or whatever, then I'll just have to usually it straight out without having to wait for it to come back and swap it over.
And I have one that's got weapons on it that goes in with my Hellhounds, and I've got one that's just got a cutlass on it for using with my Reapers or my Kudos.
Yeah, so you could just
Yeah. I'm not too big a fan of my build. I used it. It's in front of my Harlock carriers. And it's all compound armor. So I'm not really a big fan of my build.
Against launchers, the Warbird could be quite interesting though, because that's got a base of 20% evade. It's going to help.
It is, but it's realistically you can't get that evade up high enough. I mean, if you're saying that one salvo from 30 launchers is going to kill off, well, at least do one big shockwave, and this obviously you're halfway up, you get that 50% drop in the radioactive defense, and then that 24k damage, even up to 79% in one salvo from 30 launchers. I mean, it's not really going to help that much.
Yeah, I suppose you'd be more inclined to go with the Harlock Spurs for the radio defense.
I don't know. I don't know how to stop fusion cruisers. I think the best bet might be all the fire bats, but I don't know.
Yeah, enforcers with fire bats is probably the only way you're going to get it stopped, really.
And because the enforcers still do range you.
Yep, that's true. Maybe you can place your enforcer just right so that the nukes coming in can't target it.
Well, they have to, if you've done it right, they'd have to say you're a Warbird and enforcer. They'd have to pick. Do they want to sit there getting pounded by enforcer or walk into the locust?
Yeah, I've just actually replaced where my enforcer sits in my base, so it sits perfectly with the range that it's got, so that they won't be able to hit the enforcer, and they'll have to target my Grim Wrath, which will then send my enforcer into triple salvo on it. So that's going to be nice. I think that's going to help out a lot.
All right. And of course, the last prize in the sector store, the 5 million point Mastodon model. I guess as their models go, this one isn't so ugly, but it kind of has the same color scheme as the Proto Mastodon, don't you think?
I think I know what Payne would say if it's in there, because that was, if you looked at the last VXP and thing that come out on the screen or whatever, or somewhere around, there was a picture of that.
Yeah, because he thought it was going to be the R5.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
yeah.
there was that picture on one of the things he brought out, whether they did it by accident or whatever.
That's right. So it's not a retro on the Mastodon, it's just a model.
Mm.
All right. Well, and we all know what happens when we talk about models, right? We decide what models we like better.
Yeah,
And,
those ones.
I
Mhm.
found this model. Of course, she's getting all blown up because Will Harbin hates models. So we made this big, badass new fusion cruiser with new launcher to make lots of explosions.
Mhm.
Poor model's gonna get all blown up. All right. So that's the end of the slides. Talking about it before the show. I think we want to talk about fusion cruiser builds, right?
Mhm. Yeah, for
Yeah. I mean, realistically, you want to try and get some evade in there. And you want to get some resistances up.
You know, what's funny is the fusion cruiser, its configuration is so close to the Crusader. So my first cut at a fusion cruiser build was just swap the nuke accelerator for speed upgrade, and then swap all my weapons for the noob launchers, and it was good to go. You know, just kept the same armor, kept the same other 3 specials. It was speed, D5X, and reflective coat, and then 3 D5E and a bulkhead. And you know, just take that and run it with the same Frostburn I run with my Crusaders. And I'm not going to say that's maybe the best fusion cruiser build ever, but it probably work. It was really easy.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. You could use obviously the Grimshine with it, but you really want something that's going to kill off the Wendigo fire, because that's going to be something that's really going to hurt you. With the Wendigo field of effect stripping your defences down, and those mortars getting splash off on them because of the speed at which they can travel,
Hmm.
that's gonna be hurting a lot. So you want something in your fleet definitely to counteract that. So whether that's an Aegis or a Frostburn, you need one of the two.
Hmm.
we was going on about earlier about whether it's better to use strike system or speed system. I mean, it depends on what you're good on. I mean, I know Leo was saying he was looking at siege battery, whereas I was looking at more thrusters and strike.
Right, right, yeah. So once you get past kind of the clone your Crusader, there's some other options for that 4th special. The big debate when launchers were the big weapon, right, were speed system versus strike system, and that would always kind of degenerate into a shouting match, I think, on any kind of forum or Facebook discussion, um, where people would say, "Oh, you get more accuracy with the strike," and
To be honest, in the today's game though, because of the APOC mortars, I don't think that strike is, the benefit of the increased accuracy that you're going to get from the strike isn't going to outweigh the turn speed that you're going to get from the speed system. Plus the extra evade that you get as well from the speed system is going to be helpful as well.
yeah. I mean, I was a big proponent of strike system with launchers, but I think on fusion cruisers you're right. You can just put out so many flechettes, and you need so few hits to get that shockwave that I think you're going to be a lot better served with speed system than strike. I agree with you on that.
I mean,
Yeah,
if you're going to go speed upgrade, you didn't want to put, say, you're an Aegis or a Grim in there for your bonuses. You could always put speed system and speed upgrade to help you outrun the mortars.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's a number of different builds that you can put together with it. I mean, but I really do think that you need some sort of turn-in special on that.
Because
So
launchers don't really need that many specials, really, as far as to boost their damages, so you can just fill it out with defense stuff. I know that, like, obviously with your Harlocks and your Warbirds and that, if you got the 4 specials, you want to try and get power cells somewhere in there. Where
Right.
if you don't need to.
Right, and you don't need Gauss on a fusion cruiser, because again, it's not going to stack for you, or it's not
No.
going to stack the way it's not going to multiply like you'd hope. So Gauss is a real waste. Siege battery. I think Scotty, you mentioned that before. Is a good choice. Shielded electronics, maybe if you don't have Frostburn or Aegis to run with.
I
Shielded.
was thinking the siege battery would help against that as well. I mean, especially if people are using APAC mortars. If
Yep.
you haven't got any Aegis or Frosty, I don't know why you wouldn't. But if you haven't got any of them then obviously siege battery is a nice option instead of to take some turret shots.
Yeah. I mean, after I got through that design with the Frosty and the kind of the clone of my Crusader build, I started looking at a build with using the siege battery instead of the speed upgrade, and then using a Grim Zerker instead of the Frosty. And I guess it does have that vulnerability to slow, like you said, Irf, but that's kind of an interesting build too. I'm still not 100% sure where I'm going to go.
Yeah, I mean, I've had a look at a few different options. With my Grim that I use, which is loaded up with a Fade and 1 bolt, which I use on the front of my Kudas, having that as a lead ship, loading up with 3 fusion cruisers fully loaded, and then an Aegis trailing behind as well.
Yep.
I mean, that gives you some pretty good stats on that, and with the amount of firepower that's there, I think that's probably going to be enough. But I mean, there is so many ways of building it, and if you're looking at sort of mid-end bases, really you don't need all of the fancy tech that we've got, because it's going to crush them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. And a lot of the chat, on the forums and stuff, been talking about, should you just refit a V2C so you get it out there quicker? And yeah, that's going to be pretty good too. If you just take whatever launchers you're running on your V2C and swap them for these noob launchers, it'll be great.
One thing that I've been thinking about as well is sniping.
Mm-hmm.
It's got 98 range, just snipes the boat. You're gonna have to watch your placement.
Yeah, you're going to have to watch it quite a lot.
Right.
It's going to be.
It leaves it like 96 for the most part.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, enforcers. I can see a lot of enforcers coming out with mastodons, come flying across the map change as well.
I've got something mastodon built.
Yes, good old sniping enforcers.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, if you want to figure out, where the weak spots in your base are, what you do is you jump over to Pain Train sector and you start taunting him in comms, and then he'll come snipe your base.
It'll show you what's wrong.
Yeah.
I think pretty much any of us on the panel here will do that for you. Just ask Sector 287 what happens when they start taunting and poking the bear.
All right.
22 bases later with 1 fleet.
I love when Hangout though, because it's like we'll go into a base like, how do you want to hit this? Oh, we can take that out. That's snipeable. If I snipe that will take that. It's quite fun to listen to.
Yeah. All right.
Do we want to talk about using the new launcher on enforcers? Anything you want to add to that?
Yeah, refit your enforcers.
Yeah, I mean, they are so much better than the old launcher. Now, one thing I would say is that when you're on an enforcer, with these new launchers, Gauss actually is a good idea, because enforcers don't have the built-in supercharge, and again, these noob launchers do so much damage from their shocks. You know, you get 1.5 times as many shocks with the Gauss. So I think on an enforcer, the Gauss is going to be really good with the noob launcher.
I think as well that as a priority, I would probably refit your enforcers before you start building the fusion cruisers, just to help you out in defending them, because no doubt some people, not mentioning any names,
Scotty.
might have it built fairly quickly.
And when they build them that quickly, they're usually itching to try them out.
First thing I want to do is build them, refit my guard with bulkhead. It's the first thing I'm doing.
Yeah.
I've got ships I've been dying to put bulkhead on.
He will be opening the sector store on his own really quickly. Then he'll be refitting his guard with bulk really quickly.
Mm-hmm.
And then he'll have fusion cruisers out on the water smashing the hell out of your base. So
I need 51% rank.
yeah, you love it.
Oh, I do.
But
I've already got the 2 ships I'm putting with it built.
yeah, funny enough, so have I as well. But there we go. We'll see what happens.
Mm.
A lot of dead bases. That's what's gonna happen.
Yeah, there's gonna be a lot of dead bases. I mean,
Lots of dead bases and lots of dead crusaders on the water as well, I would have thought.
you know, I think it's gonna be really interesting to see a fleet of these against a fleet of crusaders, because although these guys have a lot more just raw damage output, you know, the travel time on those arbalest shots is so quick. I think the arbalests are going to land before the
Yeah, but we got to do is, I mean, the range that you've got to do is split your fleet. You split the fleet, they're going to get taught from like 4 different angles, whatever, you know, depending on how many of the ships you build.
Yeah. I don't know. I think there'll be some interesting fights. And I think the fusion cruiser probably has an advantage, but it's going to take a good driver to exploit it.
And the evade as well, you got to think the arbalest are weak to evade if they haven't got the crew on. Whereas the launchers really aren't affected by evade that much.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah. I mean, it's going to be pretty quick, isn't it? Especially if they stack.
Yeah, you can't.
That thing as well, Forsaken deck again. All Forsaken deck.
Yeah. Let's put it this way: if you're going to have one of these fights, no matter which side you're on, you want to fork your fleet out.
Yes.
That's all I'm going to say on the matter.
Yes. Well, and you know, when you're hitting bases that have maybe an enforcer or two with these noob launchers, you might need to split your fleet in that case as well. See if you can get someone to draw the fire while the rest of them get in and kill the enforcer or something. I don't know.
Sub decoy.
Yeah, maybe sub decoy will come back. Excellent point.
Yeah. I mean, it's going to make the game interesting. You know.
It's going to make a lot of dead bases.
Bring missiles back, that's what I want.
Yeah.
Bring missiles back. Bring a steed missile out with like 74 range so we can use them again.
Yeah, I was sort of thinking that too. You know, the wheel of love, as I like to call it, you know, rotates between the weapon classes. So it has been a while since missiles have gotten the love, and probably in a month or two we're going to see some kind of improved missile. Just a guess, but yes.
Just need a steed missile with a 74 range. You can make 96 range and make a decent steed missile fleet.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. The next missile is probably going to have 107 range with these 3.
On a Kodiak.
Yeah, and it's going to have a random override on it, which just sends out a nuke, a game over nuke that just nukes the entire base.
So I think that's something you'd have to coin. It'd be like a rocket.
Oh, that'd be quite interesting though. Just have
Nuclear rocket.
yeah, you could just have a one random override in it, so you know every millionth shot that you use your fleet for, it just destroys the entire base around you.
Just rename it as an Iwin rocket. Just rename it an Iwin rocket.
Yeah.
That would be quite fun. That just every millionth shot, you just get a game over nuke.
Yeah.
Don't give him ideas, Earth, you noob.
Who knows? It's power creep. It's definitely power creep, and it's
Interesting for a lot of
a lot
people.
faster than a creep.
This is going to be interesting for a lot of people that are struggling to hit locust bases. Now
Yeah.
you can completely get around them.
Yeah, I mean, you still got to edge up to him because 3 difference is not a great deal.
Yep.
You're gonna have to edge up to him, and you're gonna run the risk of getting flattened by mortars. So you're still gonna have to play it quite well.
Yeah, but it's there.
Yeah, agreed.
Mm-hmm.
But this will be one of these will be interesting though, as far as sniping goes. For a lot, I know you'll like this stuff because a lot of people put their turrets for Reapers for the ECM and stuff. If they've got sonar around the place. One of these would be nice to snipe stuff like that because they'll have to rethink where they've placed it because they'll place it out of range of an SFB cutlass, but it won't be out of range of this. So you can just go in, prep them out, easy out with the one ship, and then go with your Reaper afterwards, so your ECM doesn't die.
Who needs an ECM anyway? Don't need an ECM.
Oh, I know. I've got the same trick.
I wonder where you got that from, Scotty.
That's paying it, isn't it?
You two crack me up. I'll tell you what.
I think that's about us for tonight.
I think so.
Yeah. So don't forget to check out the Battle Pirates crib, because I'm sure 2 days into the raid, Scotty will have his fleet out and smashed a load of bases, so there'll probably be a video on that.
Maybe the first, maybe in the same world.
Yeah, you could probably come and smash my base up. Why not?
I'll be honored if you find me, Scotty.
Oh, we'll find you.
298 South Tower. Make it easy for you.
But so if you haven't checked out Larry's blog yet, obviously that's a really good read. Read that article. Gives you all of the numbers that we've shared with you tonight. But if you want to go back and have a look at them, go and take a look at Larry's blog. I'll post the link for the slides, so you can go back through the slides if you want to in the comments section for this. And yeah, I think that's about us, really, isn't it?
And obviously the build page, I will have builds up as soon as possible, well, as soon as we can, on the builds page for the new ship.
Yeah, we do try to keep it updated. Obviously, we do all of this in our free time, so sometimes it's not going to be there instantly. But we'll try and do it as quick as we can.
Yep.
And good night, guys. And we shall see you next Wednesday and for the community show on Friday.
Yep.
Catch you later.
Good night.
Set.